Goes for goal! What a start to the game! 17 seconds on the clock!
Oh, whipped into that near post and headed in. Rodrigo got the final touch.
Alioski! How about that? It's an absolute cracker from Eshan Alioski.
It goes, Giles! A goal! A beautifully worked goal!
Good evening, thank you for joining us here on Matchday Live, where you can watch tonight's game with us in selected territories. All you need to do is scan the QR code that you can see on screen and you can buy your Matchday pass there. Now, Leeds United fell to defeat at Deepdale on Boxing Day, but they're looking to bounce back tonight in a tricky trip to the Hawthorns for the final game of 2023. And joining us for this one, we have a man who's full of cheese, chocolate and roast potatoes. That makes two of us, Michael Bridges.
I am absolutely overindulged. I've loved it.
Every single minute. And we're not stopping.
No.
He's had a Chinese here tonight.
Shush. My wife will be watching.
Look, you weren't here in the LUTV studio for the game against Preston, but a disappointing result. Daniel Farke was very honest in his assessment after that game, Bridgie. What do you think went wrong for us?
What went right is probably the question. It was, I think Daniel Farke alluded to the fact that the first half of the performance just wasn't good enough. Kind of ran out of ideas against a team that were set up and organised very well. Red card for Melly in the 53rd minute doesn't help the cause neither. And it was a tough way to go for the second half. Always trying to get back into the game when he went 2-1 down. It was all when you're playing with 10 men, it's tough enough when you're playing against a team that's very organised.
Ilan will have been so disappointed in himself because he's such a level-headed man, isn't he? As a rule, you've spoken to him, we've seen him so much. We know he won't be proud of his actions there, but it is so disappointing because you and I have spoken so often about the fact that when he makes those occasional saves, he can save a game.
Yeah, it certainly does, and it's totally out of character, but this is what football does. It brings out the best of people, it brings out the worst of people at times, and unfortunately he was on the wrong end of it, and Leeds paid the price for that. So it was, I think if it would have been 11 against 11, the result would have been far different, because I think Daniel Farke at half time, I think if he's told us the truth after the game, he would have definitely let the players know at half time. So the opportunity now is for the players that have been on the outer, waiting for the opportunity to come. It's a huge opportunity when the rotations come, when the team changes come in, because you've got to be ready to take your opportunity now when you've been waiting on the outer and the team have been playing so well.
Well, yeah, let's talk about those changes, shall we? Because in terms of team news, Sam Byram, we know, comes in for Archie Gray. Sam's going to be at left back, Jed Spence at right back, Gruev coming in for Glenn Kamara, and Willie Nonto coming in for Dan James. Obviously, Carl Darlow as well is going to be in goal due to that red card for Ilan. So a number of changes there, and we have spoken about the fact, like you just alluded to, rotation has to happen, particularly at this time, at the stage of the season. Daniel Farke has said that himself. What do you make of those changes to the starting lineup?
Well, the one with Darlow has got to come in obviously for the red card. A player that came here and signed, and I was delighted, I'm a big fan of his, he's an experienced player. He came here probably thinking he was going to have first team football and thinking Mellier was going to be leaving. Mellier stayed. I'm absolutely delighted that he has done, and Carl's found himself just sitting and waiting again now. He's had opportunities. He came on against Preston, probably could have done a bit better, but what he is doing, he is relishing the opportunity to be able to take Mellier's place now. He's got 3 games to do it, and the competition for places and that position I think is absolutely brilliant. So I'm expecting a big performance from him. And in the full-back positions, it's the thing that worries me is that the changes have come, and we've had so many in the defensive players, in the back four and the goalkeeper situation. If it was across the board, I would have been a little bit more happier, but these are the things that have thrown out, because Strike's obviously not feeling the pace. He's been injured. Coops gets an opportunity. Roden is probably the only mainstay there. So again, it's the changes are there. It could freshen players up, and you know, it depends how the players have been in the looking after themselves.
Yeah, you're right.
They're ready for it.
We know Pascal Stroit's got an adductor injury, but in terms of that rotation and the fact that there is such little time between games in the minute, Bridgie, we have seen Daniel Farke's preferred starting 11, his usual starting 11, bounce back after defeats and do pretty well. Yeah. Do you think, when you look at the rotation, do you see the same happening tonight? You're obviously going to say yes. But
do you know what it is? Being a manager, right? Daniel Farke, we beat Ipswich 4-0. We absolutely blitzed them. Yeah, the starting 11 then goes into Preston game, and people are saying, "Oh, we lost the game because there was no changes." So there's two ways you can look at it. If I was the player that had been left out after winning 4-0 to go into the game against Preston, I would have been really, really upset. And it could have totally had like disharmony. So he's gone with the same setup. Maybe the players, looking back in hindsight, could have been a few changes to freshen it up. But then if we'd lost the game and he'd freshened up, then you're saying, why did you change 11? So you can't win.
You're damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't.
So tonight is an opportunity to put it right. And against a very, very good, well organised defensive unit. And they're up there. Obviously, West Brom are doing very well. They're in 5th behind us. But they're just going about their business. I wouldn't like to watch them on a regular basis. I'd rather be watching the attacking prowess of the way we play, the way Leicester have a go. But again, sometimes these teams, they're hard to break down, and when you don't concede many goals, you're going to do well. Why
do you think it is, Bridgie, and I maybe don't include West Brom in this actually, that we seem to have struggled in some games against teams almost in the lower echelons, but then we've thrived when we've played teams who are in form?
Well, thrive, we've smashed them. I mean, Ipswich, they get, 8 goals against Ipswich in 2 games, beating Leicester, the first team to do so. And then when you come up against your Rotherhams, your Preston North Ends that are struggling, Sunderland without a manager, I mean, don't get us wrong, Sunderland in the playoff positions, they've been going about their business very, very well, but they had a blip in form, and yet again they bounced back against us. So the answer to your question, Emma, I can't really give you a defined one, but what I can say is that when we play teams that play a similar style, where I say put numbers forward and go into attack, there's a lot more space for us to exploit. This is why Daniel Farke and the players have got to find something where they can unlock doors and break down defences. And I would say bring back Hernandez.
Yes,
he could.
Well, with just over 20 minutes until kick-off, let's head over to the Hawthorns for the first time this evening, shall we? And check in with our commentary team, Tony Dorigo and Bryn Law.
It's a chilly evening here at the Hawthorns. The Leeds United side looking forward to what promises to be a pretty tough game here, I think, this evening. The side that's just below them in the table. We'll talk about the team first. There are changes. We're anticipating rotation over this period, Tony, and there are 4 tonight.
Yes, I think we needed some changes. I think there's no doubt with so many games in a short space of time. Others are pushing for a place. So 4 changes. I think that's about right. Freshen things up, and I think obviously there must be a problem with Pascal as well because he's not involved tonight.
What do we need that didn't happen at Preston?
We need a response. We cannot lose this game. It's going to be a tough game at home, absolutely. We need to play with more tempo. I look at us and the way we play at home. I think we really start quickly. I think we press quickly, and we're ferocious in whatever we do. I see that in parts away from home. We need to do that all the time, 90 minutes, and make sure that we do take those chances when we get them, but we have to improve than against Preston.
Saw enough for West Brom in the game at Ellen Road to see that there's a decent side there, isn't there?
Absolutely, which kind of gives me a bit more hope in that I do think we're better against the better teams. I think we hopefully they can come out at us, and I think with that we can then go and play our stuff as well. But West Brom are a decent side. I thought we should have beaten them there, but just below us in the table, they're 6 points behind us. They'll think they can turn us over here. 3 points were within reach. We've got to make sure we put them 9 points behind.
Tony used a great word there, Bridgie, ferocious. And he's right, we need to see that same game that we get here at Ellen Road on the road, don't we?
Yeah, you'd like to think so. When you come out at Ellen Road, that's what the fans expect. The expectations are there, and you've got to come out with that fire in your belly, and that's what we've done. However, early on this season, we've conceded several goals first, and then we've had to get ourselves back in the game. So early on in the season, we're showing very, very good resolve to get back into games, and like the lads were talking about there, against West Brom, that was one of them games. Away from home, we haven't had the same intensity, ferociousness, and I think that is one of the main reasons that the results away from home have been a dip, because you can't let the team that are at home get the upper hand.
Well, yeah, let's cast our minds back to that game, shall we, back in August against West Brom, when we needed Luke Ayling for an equaliser in the 72nd minute. And again, Thomas Asante, who we know scored in their last game against Norwich, he's going to be one of their danger men tonight. We need to look out for him, don't we, Bridget?
Yeah, Thomas Asante, 7 goals so far this season. He's been absolutely flying, and he was a man that got, obviously, after this, had a good game, got a little deflected goal, but obviously counted, and he was given it. So a player to watch. I'm just delighted that the other boy is not playing Swift. He's got 6 goals this season. He's not going to be involved tonight on the bench. But Luke Ayling coming on, I mean, a header from a full-back position. You see what it meant to him. And the previous game before that, the person that wore the armband that got a late winner was Coops before he got injured as well this season. So yeah, well, let's hope that we don't have to do this similar tonight. Let's hope that we are 1, 2 or 3-0 ahead by the end.
That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
We don't have to get the subs rescuing us.
But look, we know, and Tony mentioned it there as well, West Brom are a good side. They're one of the better sides. Yeah. And there's going to be pressure on them to finish at least in the top 6 this season. And a game like this, it'll be a big game for them tonight.
It is. Every team that plays Leeds relishes it, because they know how big a club Leeds United are. Now, West Brom are nowhere near the size and the stature, but what they are, they're a very, very good, well-organised team. Collis Calderon, the manager, was talk that he was potentially going to be involved at Leeds United. He gets them well organised, so it's going to be a very, very interesting game, shall we say. They're up there for a reason, and there's teams at the top. Leicester, attacking football. Ipswich, they've come in with an attacking style. Sunderland, West Brom, that are in the playoff situations, are not the same style of attacking teams as we are in the top 2. But they find a way, because defensively they're so well organised. And I was looking at the stats from West Bromwich Albion, right? Second half goals, they're second. They don't start the games very well, but they're second in the ranking for the second half goals. But then you look at the defensive aspect of them. They've conceded 23 goals this season, so that means they're ranked second, 1 behind Leicester. Defensively very well organised, all right? Attacking, they are ranked 17th and 21st. They don't get many shots on target, and they don't create many chances of what they do. They're very clinical.
Statman Bridgie.
If there's anything to go by, what I will say, you'll see that this team, if their stats, they'll tell you exactly. They defend, they set themselves up very, very well. Yeah, they don't concede many goals. They don't like to send numbers forward in the attacking sense to get the goals neither. But when they do, they're very clinical.
I mean, I like that you've come with stats, but I don't like all of your stats, I'll be honest.
Well, I'm just trying to put a positive spin to say there's going to be opportunities and there's going to be chances.
Well, I'm sure Daniel Farke will want his team to take them. Let's get the thoughts of the boss ahead of this one, shall we?
Jet Spencer, offensive-minded fullback. Archie Gray can do more or less do both. Is also good on the ball, because he's used to play under pressure in midfield. Junior Firpo, left-footed anyhow, also experienced player. Said he was out such a long time with injuries. It's not in his rhythm. Yes, and Sam Byram, don't have to talk about him. I think outstanding season, probably the most consistent player, most consistent fullback at least in my team so far. So obviously he has different players. It's definitely important to be then on the fullback positions spot on. Jet was, especially in the last game against Ipswich, I think brilliant. Today I would label his performance solid. Archie was brilliant in the recent weeks, was on top class level. Yes, today he was involved in the goal. We can't hide behind this fact, but it's not like just because of this one scene after many, many good games, we lose the trust or whatever. So he's still in a good position, but it's also a good feeling to have Sam Byram back, and also Junior Firpo on the way to collect some minutes in order to be back in his best rhythm. It's good to have them both also available. There are no gifts and no coincidence, and I got the feeling so when we were in underload and wanted to play with 2 strikers and wanted to go for a striker who's also capable to work a lot, to run a lot, and this is what Matteo always offers, because he has a good endurance and a good physicality, and was also involved in the penalty. I think when he kept the ball and put the ball to Daniel James, he's able then under pressure to keep the ball. He has shown this also in away games, like at I think it was at Blackburn, and yeah, I like at the moment what he shows when I bring him in. His workload in the last game was also quite well. I like what he shows in training, and he's definitely on a good path. Yes. So it was not a decision against Patrick. It was more like a decision for Matteo, and I got the feeling at least he deserves it. We'll spend right now 2 days also in analysing them a bit more. I think there will be similarities to the first game, but there are definitely also a few different bits where we will speak about. So I think it will be, because such a long time ago and also many different players involved, it will be a bit different game, yes.
We heard Daniel Farke there say there's going to be a few different bits that we'll speak about. What are those bits, Bridgie, do you think?
I'm hoping that the bits that he's on about is that they'll have a setup of West Bromwich Albion. Last time they came here, they played with a back five or 3 centre-halves and wing-backs. They've changed their system up in the last few weeks. They've gone with a back four, so they've showed that they're versatile depending on who they're playing. So I'm sure he would have set them up in 2 different positions that they're going up against, and let the forward players like Nonto, like Somerville, like Rutan, Piru go and do these attacking styles of play just to go through. Like we're saying to you, that's the biggest question that I have. I'm sure a lot of the fans as well, of how we are going to do against the teams that have got a very good defensive record, that don't allow many opportunities for the opposition. Who is going to be the players that are going to stand up and be counted and want to make a difference? I call them little pickpocketers or people that can unlock doors. You know, you find that I used to love being that player that would be dropping into midfield to become the attacking midfielder, then look for the little slide passes as well. So you've got to have something about you, and I'm sure that's what they'll have been working on. But again, set plays is a big thing that West Brom rely on. So set plays would have been a massive focus this week.
We heard him talk about squad rotation as well there, and we know obviously there's a number of changes that have been made. But from your playing days, Bridgie, you'll remember, how easy or otherwise is it? Hello?
Who was that?
Was that a fridge freezer? How easy or not was it to deal with it? You know, if you're not starting or you're waiting, you know, if you're a Carl Darlow and you're waiting patiently, how do you deal with that as a player when you know that he has his favourite 11 and you've just got to wait for your opportunity?
I never experienced that. I was always starting.
You're always injured.
You killed us. Yeah, you're right. I was always sitting on the injury treatment table, to be fair. But yeah, you've got to make sure that you're in the right frame of mind. So when you're injured, it's tough enough, but to be in and around the group as a whole, that gives you the mindset, and you know, the coming in every day wanting to do it. When you're on the outer and you're not playing, you can sulk. You can be a bad egg. I don't think we've got any players like that, because the only issue we've had this season was Willie Nonto. He learnt his lesson, he apologised, and now he's come back in the frame, so he's got an opportunity to showcase that. You've got to be prepared for your opportunity. Another big player tonight that's got the opportunity is Darlow. I spoke about him. He's an experienced man. He'll be ready and relishing the challenge. So as long as they're in the right frame of mind, the staff will know exactly who's been looking after themselves, who's been doing what. And you've got to still be involved in the team talks and everything, and see how the play patterns of play.
Yeah, and look, this time of the year feels so important in terms of the championship table taking shape. And I've been guilty of looking up, not behind us.
Yes.
And Southampton have crept up on us and caught up with us, Bridgie. How important is it that I would love to say go on a winning run, but at least sustain some sort of level that we know we're capable of?
Well, if you'd have watched Southampton's first 5 matches, I think they had one really big win, and then you're going, oh, they look horrendous. They were playing out of the back at everything. They were conceding risk football, as I called it. You wouldn't have enjoyed seeing that and watching it, and the fans would have been on the back if that had been Daniel Farke's style. However, like you say, I didn't see them coming, because they've gone this 14-run game and come from absolutely nowhere, so they're timing it right.
And they've just beaten Plymouth tonight 2-1 as well.
Oh, well, there you go.
So sorry everyone. I hate to be the bearer of bad news.
Motivational speaking. Yeah, me. So it's kind of like, you've got to be aware that those teams make late surges. Leicester run away with it. That's why this game is so important. We need to keep that gap between us and West Brom and not let it narrow. And we've got to chase now Southampton. We've got to chase Ipswich. We've shown we can beat Ipswich twice, so we shouldn't fear them. But we've got to keep striding to be the best we can and improving every week. And it starts against teams like West Brom. Yeah,
just on that, Bridgie, like you say, this game is so important, but it feels like every game is now, because it feels like the pack are closing in up
this
there.
Is the championship. Anybody can beat anybody.
I'm not sure my heart's cut out for it, Bridgie,
season,
I'll be honest.
Well, it better be.
Do you know what?
It's going to be a long season.
I'm going to change subject ever so slightly just for a moment, because if you haven't seen it already, we've been putting the Leeds United squad through some festive challenges here at LUTV, and we've put our spin on Bake Off. I think it's fair to say that none of the team are going to become chefs when they're retired. Have a look at this.
Oh no. I've never seen anybody on the bake-off like that, have you? Surprise! Let's see if you remember how to do this, Deej. Let me get you to the front of the house. Whoa, 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 don't look at me. Get that smothered on there.
What are you saying, that you do exactly what I'm doing?
Here we go. No, sorry. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, brilliant. Oh, I can't do anything.
You're actually
I can't actually do anything. Just anything boobly, you know, the geezer goes on holiday for 11 months of the year. I've given up with this already.
That's the best thing you can do, put it on your hands.
Do you know when they make piping on like Bake-Off and that looks so easy? Yeah. I've never seen anybody on the Bake-Off like that, have you? What has happened here?
Can the cameras see the gaps in his foundations here?
No, they can't.
It's clever bacon.
I am pigs in blankets from breakfast. I don't mind a pigs in blanket for breakfast on Christmas Day.
Oh, not for me. Look at that. Are you just going to turn it around after? Like, surprise?
Yeah, surprise. Surprise. When you first took my hand on a cold Christmas. Mine's awful. There we go. The big reveal. Where did you get that Christmas tree from?
What? Wait, have you got two?
But how come you got that little Christmas tree there? I didn't get that one.
Which one? This one?
The green thing, yeah.
Ah, see. Little tree. These are meant to be windows. A few sweets on there. I've just seen it. This one's better.
No chance.
Yeah! Surprise!
Surprise! Nah, Deej, well done, mate.
Well done.
Yeah, no. Come on, Deej.
Bridgie, I know you were chef at your house on Christmas Day.
Christmas Day, cooked for 12 people.
12?
Yes.
Fair play. And you still had leftovers, you said.
Everybody survived.
They lived to tell the tale. What would you rate those gingerbread houses out of 10, given that you're a chef?
Genuinely? I mean, let's be honest, they're at least a 3 or a 4.
Hey, you'd still eat them though, wouldn't you?
I would eat a lot, yes.
Look, Kickoff is just a matter of minutes away now, so let's have a look at the team news again, shall we? Let's talk about in particular Willie Gnonto, because he's a player that he's been spoken so much about, and we know how phenomenal he can be, and he'll relish opportunities like tonight, won't he?
I'd like to think so, because in the Championship he should be absolutely ripping it up. He's an international footballer. We've seen moments of brilliance in the Premier League, so coming down the division, the thing that has upset Leeds United fans, and myself and a lot of the staff and the players initially, was that the way he went about his business, wanting to get away before the January window. However, it's been sorted out. He kept doing the right things for this football club. He wasn't like being a bad egg. He was coming at the right times, and he's won everybody back over. He's apologised, and he's in a settled camp. And you know, him and Somerville,
besties, aren't they?
The bestie. I mean, Somerville's been getting Man of the Match awards over in the Norman Hunter suite, and he's always got to come with his friend Gnonto.
Do they come together? Does he chaperone
Craig's
him?
nervous, so he's got his own little chaperone with him, so it's Willie Gnonto. So
that is so cute. That's
so
like me
good.
and you. I have to
go.
chaperone you.
Correct. You're right. But that's the camaraderie they've got, so, and they're in the same position, but they get on. So for me, Gnonto he's got a massive opportunity, and he's got to win over the Leeds United fans once again. He's got to show his international manager what he's all about, and he's got to start performing in the Championship, and he'll be relishing the opportunity.
And the same applies as well for Gruev, who comes in for Glenkamara tonight.
Yeah, Grove. I mean, I think he was probably expecting to get a lot more games this season, but Archie Gray has started the season so well alongside Ampadu, and then when Archie went to right back, Kamara came in, did well. So Gruev is a player that I'm expecting big things from. You know, a Bundesliga regular last season, come here to be part of it, and we've hardly seen him. You know, I want to see players like this. I want to see what they're capable of doing. That just shows the squad depth that we have at Leeds.
I was just going to say that's brilliant that we can call on the likes of Gruev. On Archie Gray as well, I almost feel a little bit protective of him, maybe because of his age, but he's been outstanding all season, and I think you'll know from your playing days, it's so important not to allow occasional performances or players that can challenge you to knock you confident.
Do you know, I'm a massive fan of Archie. I saw him a few years ago in Australia. He was a standout performer, and that was when we were in the Premier League, and he never got his opportunities. This season he's got them. Now in midfield he was absolutely brilliant to start with. He showed he's versatile to play right back, but there's a few times he's been exposed in that right back position by certain players in one-on-one situations. It's not his position. He's doing a job there, and he's capable of doing a job, so let's not hold that against him. a few people have been highlighting that, and I just think, it's not his favourite position. He's doing a job because we have been short in that area. He's doing a job for this football club, and I think it's nice that he's being protected and taken out of the situation at the moment and given opportunity. He'll be ready to return to that midfield battle when he is ready.
He certainly will. Right then, Bridgie, it's time for your favourite moment of the evening.
Predictions.
Score predictions, please.
Yes, I'm going to say there's a goal. Both teams very, very good defensive records, clean sheet.
What's your score prediction?
Oh, I'm taking 1-0 or 2-1 to Leeds United. It's not going to be a runaway route from either team.
Okay, long and convoluted way of saying 1-0 then, basically. We'll take the 3 points before we head over to the Hawthorns and join our commentary team of Bryn Law and Tony Dorigo. Let's get the thoughts of Joel Piroux.
Well, Joel, disappointing result in the last game. Are you coming here to try and put things right tonight?
Yes, definitely. We know it's going to be a tough game, but we're here to make it right and go home with the 3 points.
They're just behind Leeds in the table, West Bromwich Albion. Do you expect a tough game from them this evening?
Yes, definitely. They're there for a reason, so we know we can expect a big fight from them. And, we're up for it, and we just have to keep going.
It's going to be a sellout crowd for the game this evening. Loads of Leeds fans travelling as ever here. Should be a great atmosphere, shouldn't there?
Definitely. The fans have been great, like the whole season long, and we do expect a lot from them again tonight.
We're in the West Midlands, we're at West Bromwich Albion, and it's the final away game for Leeds United of 2023. And we're hoping, very much hoping, that Leeds, in terms of their travelling, are hoping to finish, are planning to finish with a flourish here in front of what will be a sellout crowd against the side who are just one place below Leeds in the Championship table. Leeds United supporters in big numbers here filled the entire allocation that they've been given behind